guys, how are y'all doing today? I hope you guys are doing great. And happy October. It's October already. Halloween month. Check out my nails. Aren't they cool? I thought they would be so cool for Halloween, for October. And to start off the month right, I went ahead and put these on. Aren't they so cool? I mean, I can't do anything with them, but they're cool, right? As you guys know, if you follow my channel, in October, I usually like to tell you guys spooky stuff that's happened to me, kind of scary stories that have happened to me, because I've had quite a few of them happen to me in my life. I've seen some scary stuff. I've experienced I believe supernatural experiences, not like with aliens or anything, but like with spirits. I know y'all are probably gonna be like, this girl's crazy. But I'm not, I promise. Or at least I think I'm not. I don't know. But anyway, I want to tell you guys a little bit about that side of me. I really don't talk about it on YouTube as much. Other than during the month of October, I usually would tell you guys a spooky story that has happened to me in my life. But I've never really told you guys the background of that. I've never really told you guys that I'm a witch. Just kidding. I'm not. Well, I don't know. Maybe. It depends on what you consider a witch. But I'm not a witch. So like if you think I'm like casting spells on people and stuff like that, like, then no, I'm not a witch. But I don't know. I've seen some pretty wild things. So anyway, all my life, ever since I was a little kid, I've always been different. I remember always my mom and my family when I was little, always telling me, oh, she's over there talking to herself. And I remember, like, I would hear them say that about me. Oh, she just talks to herself a lot. But I wasn't talking to myself. I was playing with my friends, you know? And they didn't know that. Like, they didn't know that I was, you know, playing with my friends. And I could sit there and play, you know, get a doll and play for hours. I remember when I was little, my mom couldn't afford to buy me like Barbies or anything like that. And this was when we used to live in Mexico. So I used to get the magazines, the catalogs, and like I used to cut out the pictures of the models, and then I used to pretend that they were dolls. And I remember I used to sit there and like play with my friends my imaginary friends. And everybody used to always say like, oh, she talks to herself a lot. She lies a lot, because I used to tell them stories about how, and this is from stuff that I barely remember, but I was so little when I would tell these stories to my mom. And I would tell her that I used to be a Hollywood actress, and that I had my Hollywood friends, and that we used to all go and party in my Thunderbird. And they used to be like, no, where she gets these stories. She likes to lie. Anyway, but they used to say that about me, that I used to talk to myself a lot and I used to lie a lot. And so, you know, once you start growing up and you start thinking like, maybe I was a little liar. Maybe I was, you know, just talking to myself, because I don't know why, because there was plenty of my cousins and like I had plenty of kids to play with. I just, you know, would play with my imaginary friends. They were cooler. And they wanted to play when I wanted to play at all times. So, you know, they were more available all the time. But anyway, I remember things like that. And I also remember the rumors that people used to say about my grandmother. Not my mom's mom, which is who I grew up with. I grew up with my mom and my grandmother on my mom's side. and my grandfather on my mom's side. Kind of like my family on my dad's side, like I really didn't know them. I knew my dad for a very short period of time. Then he left our lives and I never saw him again. And so I never met my grandmother on his side. I never met any of his family. So I would hear rumors about people saying that my grandmother on my dad's side was a evil witch, you know, that she would put spells on people and that she was just an evil person and all this stuff. And you know, I don't know how true those things were. You know, for all I know, they were just saying that because they didn't like her or something, you know. So I never really took it as like, you know, like a solid. I remember my mom being sick at some times in her life and blaming it on her, saying, oh, she put witchcraft on me. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know if that was true or not. I remember when I was little, my mom woke up in the middle of the night saying that she was suffocating, that something was on top of her, and then she would point outside and see and tell me, look at those fireballs, look at those balls of fire. And I mean, I couldn't see anything. And that was weird, you know, and she was really sick. She would get sick a lot. And she would say that it was because of my grandmother, that my grandmother had a spell on her. But anyway, she ended up getting rid of that. She ended up going to somebody else that cleansed her or something. And she said that that's how she got better. But, you know, to this day, I don't know if that's true or not. I would like to think it's not true because that would be really messed up, you know, if that was true. Now that I'm older and I understand all this stuff and I know how all this stuff works, I understand it a little bit better. Like I said, I've always known that I'm different. I've always seen things, and not like in a mental illness kind of way. I've seen shadows, lights turn on and off on me all the time. Lights blink a lot all the time. I've seen people at situations, at events that are no longer with us. Just things like that, you know, that have happened in my life. And I used to be really afraid of that. I used to say, what's wrong with me? You know, am I evil? Like I used to think that I was evil because I could see things that normal people couldn't see. And I remember when I used to work at this place, this call center, and I met somebody there and she told me the same thing. You know, she told me, oh, she goes, I see people that aren't there all the time. She's like, I'm already kind of used to it. She's like, sometimes I'll be with somebody and I'll be like, did you see that guy right there? And then they'll be like, no, there was nobody there. And I'm like, oh my God, like that's what happens to me, you know? And I was like, well, maybe I'm not the only one like this, you know, like there's a lot of people. Anyway, with the years, I grew less and less afraid of it, but at the same time, I kind of didn't want to embrace that side. Not embrace it, but like I kind of didn't even want to think that I could have something like that I could be like a witch, or that I could have some kind of, that I could see spirits or stuff like that. And because it would scare me a lot. Like at night, I could not sleep with the light off. I had to have a light. And I mean, when I mean a light, I don't mean a little night light. I mean like a light on in my room. Like I would usually leave the closet light on and the door a little bit open because light had to be hitting me. Like I could not fall asleep if it was completely dark or if there was no lights on. So I was really scared of that growing up. Sometimes it would be my imagination playing tricks with what I would see or feel. So it would get really scary, you know? And next week, I'm going to tell you guys one of the stories that happened to me when I was little and one of the things that I saw that was very scary to me. And I saw this when I was like 8 years old and it was so scary. But this week, I'm kind of just talking about the little background and all this. I hope you guys don't take it the wrong way. You know, I'm not trying to say like that anything. I'm just kind of like just telling you a little bit about that side of me. And like I said, I used to be afraid of it for a long time. It hasn't been till recently, maybe the last 2 or 3 years, maybe like the last 2 years, actually. No, 2 or 3 years. The last couple of years that I've learned to kind of like to look into it a little bit more, to realize that because I can see this stuff or I can feel this stuff doesn't make me a bad person, doesn't make me evil, doesn't make me, nothing like that. And I usually, when I see things, when I see people, like for example, one time we went to an event. I'm not going to say what event because I don't want the person that through the event to know, because I just don't know how they would look at it. But I remember when I saw somebody at the event that was no longer with us, that I heard them telling me something, I heard them telling me, I'm really proud. Tell them that I'm really proud. And it was really hard not to go up to them and say, they said they're really proud of you. It was really hard because I was like, if I go and tell them this, like, they're just going to be like, what the heck? Like, what? So I really never tell people when I see it. I just don't know how they're going to receive it, or if they're going to think I'm weird, or like, the only time that I did it is when my grandmother passed away. And I remember I was at my mom's house, and my mom lasted a really long time without being able to cope with it and without being able to tell her goodbye. She would hold on to her clothes. She would have her picture and talk to her every day, and put her little glass of water, and because she would say that she was thirsty, and like she just wouldn't let her spirit go. And I remember one day my mom was crying. She was sitting on the kitchen table. She was in her room where my grandma used to stay, and then she went to the kitchen and she was crying. And when I came in and I saw her crying, from the corner of my eye, I saw my grandma pass by. And I heard her tell her it's okay to let me go. So I told my mom, I said, oh my gosh, I'm getting goosebumps right now. I told my mom, I said, Mom, I said, it's okay. It's okay to let her go. I'm like, she's with my grandpa now, and, they're happy. They're together. I was like, you should let her go. I was like, it's okay. And after that, I saw a lot of healing in my mom, because she gave away her clothes. She donated her clothes, her wheelchair, she had like a scooter. My grandma had like a scooter that she would use because she couldn't walk towards the end of her life. And she actually donated that scooter to a boy that needed a scooter that didn't have the money to buy one. And she ended up donating her bed. Like, she did, she let her go. And that was the only time that I've ever given anybody a message. It doesn't happen often. Like like I said, I don't really practice it. I don't really sit here and try to channel people or things like that, because that's not what I do. If something comes to me organically, it comes to me. And if I feel like I can tell the person, I'll tell them. But if not, then I remember one time I was saying goodbye to my friend, somebody in my family. I'm not going to say names. They were at my house and they were leaving. They were walking out the door. And as they walked out the door, I saw their vehicle that they were in. I saw it in my head, turning out and getting hit by a car, actually. And right when I saw that in my head, I said, hey. And she turned around and I started talking to her about something else. I distracted her for another couple of maybe like 20 seconds. And then we laughed and she left. And when she was turning on her vehicle to leave, I saw a car pass by that I had seen in my head. And it's little things like that. Like whenever I have a chance to be able to help something or to make something better, that's when I'll use it. And in ways where the people won't find out, because I I don't want them to think I'm a weirdo or, there's something wrong with me, because I know that there isn't. Now that I understand it better, I use it for good. I pray for people, and I ask God to, if there's something special in me, I tell him, God, if there's something special in me, use it. I give it to you. You use it. You use it however you want to use it. You use me however you want to use me. Because for a long time, I thought I was a weirdo. I thought there was something wrong with me. But if there's something special in me, I tell him, use me. And, don't treat me like the pastor at that church one time. I went to a church one time. My sister invited me to it. She said, oh, you're going to love this church. The pastor, like, he'll shake your hand and he'll tell you, like, stuff about your future. Or, like, he'll tell you, like, I don't know, like, tell something about you. So I was, like, excited, right? I was excited to go to this church. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I wonder what he's going to tell me, and because it was a very small church. And so I remember going to that church, like, excited. I went and he shook my hand and we went inside the church, and then he started preaching. And me and my sister were sitting down, and he said, he goes, I wasn't going to preach this today. He was like, but I'm just going to do it. He's all like, he started talking about if there's any witches in here, they need to leave. He's like, this is not a place for witches. And like, and in my mind, I was like, God, there's witches in here. Where are they? And I didn't know what he was talking about. I looked at my sister. I was like, what is he talking about? And then it was till later, that I was like, well, I wonder if he said that because of me, because like maybe he saw something in me, but I don't know. And, and that I wasn't a witch. I'm not a witch, like I don't know, but that happened to me, and it really discouraged me in a lot of ways. I was like, that's another thing that kind of made me feel ashamed of what I was feeling, what I was seeing, what I was, encountering in my life and my experiences with all this. But, now that I'm older, now that I'm wiser, I know that it's not a bad thing. If I can help somebody in any way with something that I see or something that I feel, I tell God to use me, to use my gift. If I have a gift, to use it to help people, because that's what I want to do. And so I know that some people are probably going to judge me and like maybe say like, that's not right, or, this and that. But it's a little piece of who I am. And you know what? I'm proud of it. I'm not scared of it anymore. I embrace it because I'm not a bad person. And I've never tried to do anything bad to anybody, and I would never do that. My whole mission in life is that I want to help people. And if this gift, if I have anything special, any gift in me that can be used by God to help people, then that's awesome. That's cool. That's really cool. And so I just wanted to give you guys a little background on my witchiness. No. I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about that. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that this month. I'm going to be telling you guys some of those stories that have happened to me. And yeah, so I hope you guys like this video. I know it's different, and but I wanted to share it with y'all. And thank you so much for being here. If you guys are new to my channel, I am so glad that you're here, and thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. It really means the world to me because I really enjoy making these videos, and this is my hobby, and this is what I love to do. I love to sit here and chat with y'all, and it makes me really happy to be able to read your comments, to answer your questions, or just to chit chat with y'all on there. But anyway, thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.